In a huge ruling by the California Supreme Court here at the beginning of 2019, they held that payroll companies cannot be held as joint defendants for underlying labor code violations. Under the California Labor Code, an employee who believes they have not been paid properly or there's underlying labor code violations can sue their employer. This case brought up a novel issue that hadn't been ruled on yet on whether the employee could also include the company's payroll company as a joint defendant in the litigation. The underlying appellate court in this case held that the payroll company, in this case it was ADP, could be held jointly liable as a defendant for certain pay stub violations and payroll reporting violations that the plaintiff alleged. The California Supreme Court, however, overturned this Court of Appeals opinion and held that the employee could not sue the payroll company as a joint employer under two different theories, two different tort theories in this case. So the plaintiff in this case alleged that ADP and the employer had a contract and that the employee was a third-party beneficiary to that contract and therefore could name ADP as a joint defendant in this underlying litigation. The California Supreme Court rejected that argument and said, nope, basically the contract's between the employer and ADP, and therefore the employee could not include ADP as a defendant for their underlying labor code violations. The California Supreme Court also ruled that other tort theories of liability, such as negligent misrepresentation and negligence, could not be a grounds to bring the payroll company in as a defendant in this case as well. So this case is just a good reminder for employers. The responsibility to provide accurate pay stubs and comply with all pay requirements under California Labor Code falls with them. And they can't necessarily rely on these outside payroll companies to ensure that it's being done properly. If there's a lawsuit, the employer is going to be named as a defendant and they're going to have to defend the litigation. So it's important that they take steps up front to ensure that all requirements are being met. So with that said, I appreciate you watching the video. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And as always, please subscribe and like the video.